That might have been a hit. Ricochet. Hit. Low end. Very low. Hit though.
Welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at this product right here. This is brought by Skopecam, and so I'm going to say thank you to Skopecam for sending one of these out to the channel. For a while now, I've needed a way where I could record my shots, especially on hunting rigs, something that is more of a hunting style optic, and I just couldn't find the thing that would work until I found this. And I have to give a shout out to Adaball Sights. Jimmy over there was the first person to turn me on to this product and let me know about it. And as soon as I saw that it was a QD product, as you can see here, they send a ring out with some picatinny for your scope, and it can QD right on after you assemble it and you kind of put it together the way that it's going to work for your particular optic and your phone. It repeats, it finds its place, and it's right back in there. And I was like, man, that is a good idea. That's pretty neat. And I needed a way to get some shots of my reticle, especially for my channel, but then also for hunting. I wanted to be able to do that. And there's a couple cool, features and facets with this that are different, unique to this product, such as the way that it actually records the reticle itself. I've seen some different attempts by other companies to make something that can somehow capture the image of what's going on inside the optic, and this might be the literal most straightforward way to get at it and get a shot of that reticle, and then also have a quick attach, quick detach method that isn't intrusive. It doesn't, kind of get in the way of all the rest of the functions of the optic. There's also this feature right here. There's a kind of a rubber band you put around the buttstock of your rifle if you need an extender and you want to shoot the rifle kind of in a regular position. I found a couple other ways I could use it as well, but this is kind of an image right here as I'm dialing through the turrets, showing you what it looks like, obviously with bumps and vibration. Just like when you look through an optic, your phone is recording some of that. So as I'm not perfectly steady and it's not in a vise, you're seeing a little bit of shaking, but that's not the phone. That's just the entire rig. That's my optic. That's me bumping my rifle. And I'll take a few shots here just to show you what some impacts look like. And that's at a little over 200 yards, maybe 220 yards, something like that with my 5.56 gun there. Just kind of bouncing around the range a little bit, seeing what target identification looks like. I'll throw a few more here. I like that flinch test there. I kind of passed the flinch test. So when I first got this product, I actually threw it on a pellet rifle first because I could shoot that on the home range, and I really didn't want to have to wait to get on a centerfire gun to start experimenting with it and see what it's like. And I do shoot a lot of squirrels and rabbits with my pellet rifles, another small game, and birds. And this is an awesome way to show my kills. And so I have an SM86 from Sunway Photo on a tripod there. And a lot of times I'll shoot my pellet rifle just like this when I'm gonna hunt or I'm in a fixed position. Maybe even with centerfire rifles, I'll shoot it just like this. And so this is a really cool way just to show how this might work for you. It's very natural. It was not difficult for me to get comfortable behind the rifle. And here's a shot. And I was making my hits. I was hitting what I needed to aim at. This is what it looks like on 1X when I'm not magnified in my phone camera. And I'm going to recommend that when you first set it up, you set it up on 1X, make sure it's centered up, and then you double your magnification, because that's what it's qualified for, is up to 2X. When you double that magnification, even though I'm using a fairly low quality piece of glass here, just so you know that it's not the faults of the product. It is the product that I'm looking through. It is the scope. It's a low quality scope with poor quality glass. Still, I have a very usable image, and I'm just showing you as I back off magnification. I'm not having any issues with focus. You do need to be able to lock your focus on your phone though, and that's one really important feature, is as if you're using this for hunting especially, and you're zooming around looking at different things at different distances, you need to be able to either get an app for your phone, which they sell many, or be able to lock the focus on the phone that you have now on your camera app, just so that the reticle stays in focus and the background is generally periphery, because your phone will get confused otherwise. That's one important feature to make this work the right way. But as you can see here, I can see my reticle just fine. I'm focused in pretty well here. I even used it for spotting for a friend. Impact. So the benefits of a product like this are probably fairly obvious, But on this really windy day, we were shooting at a little over 600 yards. You know, it's like 15-mile-an-hour winds, and there's a lot of data to record. There's a lot of things to remember after the event, after you're shooting. And when we're doing something like this, we were able to go back and watch the footage and kind of remember some of the data. You can overhear the conversation, see some of the wind conditions. There's just a lot of stuff that you can assess after you're shooting. You know, if it's a hunt or your target practice, just plinking with friends like I was doing here on this particular day. It's actually pretty useful to be able to record that and turn any scope into a spotting scope with a camera. And obviously there's data in there. I can use my reticle on the targets and get a feel for what's going on there. My friend that was shooting, we were able to get some confirmation that he was making hits here, and it's recorded, so you can prove it to your buddies.
There it is. That was a center mass hit, but it was just a tad to the left of center.
So a second ago I talked about how this is locked on focus on my reticle, but before I figured that out, I had been taking a few shots and I was having a little bit of issue. As you can tell right here, after I would shoot, I was going fuzzy in the reticle, and that's because I did not lock the focus of my camera. That's my phone. That's a phone issue, not the device itself. And so after I kind of figured out a little bit how to hold down and make my reticle focus, you know, it's different for every phone camera out there, guys. You'll have to do that research, but there's also apps. If you need to, you could just download an app and make your reticle focus. So that wasn't too complicated at all. The thing that I think you're going to spend the most time with is just getting this particular setup, what you see right here. So I have a precision rifle scope with big turrets. I just wanted to set up the ring in the right way so that the tension was right every time, because you can adjust the picatinny tightness, which you're going to want it nice and tight so it repeats well. And as you can see here, I got it locked down nice so it comes off relatively easy, and it also goes on relatively easy. And I wanted it just to be a really tight fit so the camera was always in the right position. Every time I threw it on, I wouldn't have to readjust the camera mount position, and actually I was able to successfully do that on my AR here, which was very cool. So I tried different ways. I actually didn't need to use the stock extender very often. I was just really happy to see that there was repeatability in being able to set up the camera in that mount on the two posts there. I could just attach it to, actually I used picatinny rings that I had already. I didn't always have to use the included scope ring that has picatinny on the top. This particular method right here is just on some Burris picatinny rings from a pepper mount. Worked really well on this precision optic. I think it's really set up for hunting optics, especially if you're going to have some eye relief where you need to move forward. Obviously, if I tried to move forward right now with the way it's set up, I would run into my turrets. But with hunting style optics, I really don't think you're going to run into that so much, because they don't have those tall exposed turrets such as what you see here. So it's more of a hunting style optic. You know, it's capped, and I'm not going to have the issue of the two rails, the two bars, which can go forward or back to fix your eye relief. I'm not going to have issues of running into my caps there, but more on precision style optics, that would be an issue that might limit your amount of eye relief. But you can also maybe finite adjust that through the ring itself. So in this particular version that you're looking at in this picture here, I have the scope ring installed with picatinny, and I could move that scope ring back and forth a little bit by itself, reposition it, and that might give you some flexibility or versatility to set up eye relief that's more appropriate for you. Most scopes have right around a 3 to 4 inch eye relief, some a little less, some a little more, and the device is set up for most scopes. I think it's going to work with most scopes, and even if you need to change that relief a little bit, remember on this particular mount you see the orange dial that is on top of the box, on top of the QD. That will adjust the bars so you can go in and out, back and forth. And then there's a second orange dial further back on the phone mount right there that you can see from this angle in the upper part of the picture. That orange dial there is to adjust some finite adjustments on your phone up and down, because remember, you are setting up your camera to be in front of the scope and the reticle there. That's the important part. I just want to talk about this picture a little bit. Now I do have my phone holder piece maybe upside down from the way that some of you would use it. This is what I needed to do to set it up properly for my Pixel. The tensioner on the back side, which is the main bolt there in the middle, the big tensioner with the orange dial that you saw in the previous picture there, I just needed a little bit more range of adjustment because the 3XL is a really big phone, and the way the camera is set up, which is a little bit different than most other phones out there, I was still able to make it work by just simply flipping the mount around. So you might have the stainless bolt on the top. I had mine on the bottom in this orientation right here, and the important thing to know is it worked well, it was repeatable. The metal claws that are on that, man, I was almost a little worried when I first received the product because I wasn't sure that it would hold my phone in all the way. I have a really big phone. It's a big, heavy phone, and actually it did. Even under the recoil of my 223, even letting it free recoil, guys, not giving it a proper stop or a shoulder behind it, even with free recoil, it held my phone in completely. It tightens up really well, and it didn't crush my phone, didn't break anything at all. It just grabbed onto the case very well, and so I was happily surprised to see that is a good design, worked well. You probably could increase the size of the claws in the future if phones get any bigger, so it wraps around a little bit, maybe add some rubber. But as it is right now, I'm going to tell you it's a strong design. It worked. I wouldn't have any concerns or issues about my phone falling out, even under heavier recoil, because it's aluminum or some sort of metal, and so it's going to tighten up really nicely on the phone. I have a rubber case on my phone anyways, and so if you're curious about that, you're worried that it won't hold on, actually it did. It held on just fine. No issues with that at all. I'm really happy to be able to have something where I can start recording some of my kills and my hunts and target practice. I can record data in a unique way. Normally I'm trying to fix my phone up to like a spotting scope, and it just doesn't work very well. I can't get a consistent hold. I don't have the right devices for it, but this right here solves the problem. I can hook this up to a lot of different kinds of optics, not all of them. It's not going to work on every single optic. You'll have to do your own research about eye relief and setting up a picatinny ring. It's just a little bit of research and math for eye relief, but aside from that, I found that this is going to work on most of my optics, and so I'm very happy to see that I can record some of that data in the future in a unique way and come home with some cool footage, actually, especially with optics manufacturers that I work with. I'm hoping to use this more and more. I'm hoping to show you hopefully some kill shots coming up really soon as small game opens up here. What is it, about 2 months for me? Small game opens up, and I'm hoping to use this on my rim fires and come back with some more really cool in-field use. This product works well with most phones, again, and especially phones that have a camera in the upper left portion of the phone. Mine is in the upper right, and I made it work, but I think if your phone has a camera in the upper left, that's going to work best. You can check them out at Skopecam.myshopify.com. Again, that's Skopecam.myshopify.com. They're having a sale at the time of me posting this video right now, so if you go fast enough, you can find a really good deal. Also, if you use spotting scopes, they do have a product for spotting scopes. Although I don't have one on the channel just yet, I may get one in the near future. I find that to be very interesting, looks well built. I would really like to get my hands on one and show you guys that as well. But in the meantime, you'll have to check out Skopecam.myshopify.com.